Welcome back to Fortress Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about the ticker MULN, and I'm told it's actually Mullen, so we're going to just go on and mention it as Mullen. So Mullen here, I did talk about it over the weekend, and ever since it did actually hit to around 200% the next day, and then it dropped a little. Currently it's trading around 99 cents, higher up from the last time we talked about it at 77 cents, and we're going to talk about where it's probably going to be going next. So in case this is the first time ever you hear about Mullen, Mullen is a Southern California-based company that owns and partners with several synergetic businesses, all working towards the same goal of creating clean and scalable electrical vehicles energy solutions. Now, the beginning of Mullen started off and was incorporated by the CEO in 2014 as a successor company from the acquisition of Coda Automotive and Mullen Motor Cars. Now, Coda Automotive was founded actually in 2009. The award-winning company's all-electrical sedan came with a range of 88 miles, or 142 kilometers for the Canadian folks out there. Now, the longest among its class at the time. Now, at one point, Coda was the only or one of only two vehicles certified under the EV categories selling across the US, the other company being Tesla. Coda was focused on accelerating the adoption of electrical vehicles by improving performance, safety, reducing cost, and commercialization of production of battery systems built for automotive applications. And so they have also the Mullen GT, this one, or the Mullen Motor Cars, that was founded in 2002. The Mullen Motor Cars was a company behind the Mullen GT, which was the first EV supercar in the market in 2007. The Mullen GT was named by the Forbes magazine as the 7th fastest American production car in 2006. Mullen Technology is the product of a strategy of a union of the economic efficiency offered by Coda Automotive with the superior features provided by Mullen Motor Cars technology. Mullen, as we know today, is a cumulative of nearly a decade long of undertakings by David, which is the CEO, to make his vision a reality. And you get to see a bit of the timeline, so it gives you a bit more of an appreciation into what Mullen is. It's not an overnight company that never built a car and all of a sudden is showing as the next big EV. It actually has history. So that kind of gives you an appreciation into what the company does and what they're going for. Now, they have different vehicles. The biggest one that a lot of retail is focused on is Mullen 5. And it kind of has this kind of hatchback kind of look, or actually it's not a hatchback, my bad, it's a crossover SUV kind of vehicle. And it basically stats resembles the Model Y Tesla, but looks, it's a bit different. It is kind of an SUV vehicle, and it kind of gives you somewhere between Neo, Lucid / Tesla vibes. A bit of each a little. I think it's more between Neo and Tesla. Somewhere in between there. But anyway, it's still very unique in its own look. EVs start to look a little bit the same. For instance, in the grille itself at the front, they don't need these gaps for air to come in. So that kind of gives it a bit of that design. But overall, they're very much aerodynamic, given to the part that they don't need a lot of engine power, basically, gas tanks, that kind of stuff that does waste a lot of space. And so they're able to aerodynamically optimize the shape of the vehicles. So overall, you're able to see the vehicle, and then there's Dragonfly, which is coming soon. And so I think this is kind of the super fast car kind of version of Mullen, which is basically rivalry to Tesla's Roadster. And it basically tries to go pure electric high performance sports car. And so in a sense, you get to start feeling that they're trying to go for kind of a very nice looking sports car with high performance, almost a supercar category. They're going back to what Mullen, Motors company, the original one, was going after. So I think it's a successor of the Mullen GT, but actually a bit nicer, more performance, and a higher range. So currently the estimated range is around 236 miles, with 125 miles per hour maximum and 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. So moving on, this is the Mullen 1 EV fleet vans. This one is actually going to be the one to be delivered earlier on. If you do recall, in terms of the news, they did have some news that came out in terms of some highlights and the letter that was issued to shareholders. And it did talk about these kind of deliveries right here. Mullen is on track for the first EV cargo van fleet vehicles in Q2 to be delivered. So that, in a sense, kind of gives you a bit of an appreciation into something that has been hidden in the background, Mullen's cargo van. Now, I'm not going to go through the details of this one other than just the range. So 160 miles range for Class 1. Class 2 is around 200 miles plus, so it really depends. The one that will be delivered here, as mentioned, isn't really mentioned which one, whether it's the first or second, but it says first EV cargo van fleet vehicles, which I do imagine just means the first off. But moving on from there, Mullen as well has EV battery technology research and development, and that comes in part of it. And the Mullen 5 will have the latest of technologies as well, so 5 times more energy density, 50% less cost per watt hour, and exceptional safety profile. But that kind of gives you a bit of more of an appreciation into who Mullen is and a little bit of why this company most likely should be trading at a higher price if you were to give it a bit of an understanding of where they came from and relating towards the market cap and how they can easily compare to Tesla. Currently, the market cap is around 32 million. I've seen a lot of companies, for instance, that haven't really started even delivering yet. So something like, for instance, Fisker. So right off the bat here, you're seeing around $3.6 billion, and they don't have much sales either going on. And then you got Lucid Motors as well. Well, that's Lucid Diagnostic, my bad. Lucid Groups is trading at $39.47 billion. Granted that he also hasn't delivered anything yet at this current moment, I believe. Or at least the majority of the vehicles hasn't been delivered yet, my bad. That was a mistake slip off of Lucid. I did make a video on it recently, but you get to see that $39.47 billion. There is kind of a mismatch on where the market caps when you're looking at other EVs and, for instance, something like Mullen. But anyway, it's really depending on fundamentally, and a lot of information is not available yet for Mullen, so very excited to get to see it. Retail is mostly bullish from what I see online. Institutional buyers, you're able to see that Drawbridge Investments added around 11.8 million shares, 10% ownership for this company just recently. Institutional buyers appears to be somewhat mixed, but mainly bullish onto this one. Insiders, we don't have anything on this one, but before moving on towards technical analysis, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button, leave notification buttons on for this channel, and don't forget to drop a like, and let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, Mullen's technical analysis here looks a little bit mixed. Now, of course, you're seeing basically a momentum that is still going from negative to positive. It was horribly negative, around negative 2.78 somewhere earlier on or mid-Feb. And you're getting to see that it's slowly retracting momentum, and that's looking good. Currently, momentum is negative 0.36, but it's still attempting to go and cross the bullish side, and that is a very exciting moment to be in. Now, the million percent R, which is very similar to the RSI or Relative Strength Index, is neither overbought or oversold. It's a neutral. The average directional index is going a little bit down at 40.41, indicating that there might be easily reversals at this point, but just as it did hit earlier on around 57, it is breaking that strong negative trend, and it's reversing from this massive negative trend. So that's a good reversal seeing on the ADX. In moving averages, you have the 50 SMA above the 30 SMA above the 10 SMA, which are bearish, but it appears that the 10 SMA is now a new support for the stock at 85 cents, and the resistance would be possibly the 30 EMA at 210 in terms of moving averages. The MACD shows positive, and it starts to show basically a push for a positive reversal, although momentum needs to go positive in order to continue this move on a multi-day, and that is stable and it doesn't drop the next day in a massive candle like it just did. Now, moving on towards stochastic fast and stochastic slow, you're able to see that yes, it did drop significantly. It went down on the lower level around the 1st of March, and then it got a little bit earlier on in the day up to 120 from around a lower of 87 cents the day before. And right now it's slowly climbing up. So there is still massive hope into this one, and it shows like this could be perhaps a good time to buy. A little bit dangerous, but there is a lot of room to go upwards. Now, moving averages, You're seeing here it's going downwards. It hasn't stabilized yet. It's still going downwards. Not the best news, and the volumes have decreased significantly day by day. That is another warning sign usually for stocks once they start going downwards and volume starts losing out. But you get to see that there is a lot of attention for this stock just recently, trading up around 630 million in terms of volume. I believe 631 to be specific. Next day 500 million, and then now 189 million. Still one of the most traded stocks today as well. I believe it is the highest traded in NASDAQ at the current time, not from value, but from volume, and it might continue to do so. So it still has a lot of pulse and a lot of attention. Now, from a moving averages point of view, we kind of saw all that. Fibonacci retracements moving only from the last month, we're able to see a significant resistance at 124, 170, 208, 245, 298, and 367. Support at 50 cents. Now, just from a price line action, we're able to see a significant support at the 98 cents. Below there, 92, 84, 80 cents, downwards to 75, going downwards to around 68, and then 61, and then 53. Resistances 101, 112, going higher to 119, 127, 137, 153, going downwards to 169, 178, and you kind of get the point. There is a few, 222, but 213 is an interesting one because it got rejected and fell right on. But there is a lot of resistances up there all the way up to around $15. And the question comes to, what do I think is going to happen at? Well, I do actually like this stock. I see where they come from, and I kind of given it a bit more of a perspective into their history. This company has a chance. I can't wait to see the 5 and at least test drive it, see it on the road. But it's starting to sound like it could be undervalued at a $30-something million company. Meanwhile, all the other EVs that are trying to attempt to do the same thing are trading in $1 billion in value. What do you think is going to happen here? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.